Continuing on with graphing square root functions, I got a word problem for you here. So, for good weather conditions, police use the formula R equals 2 square root 5L to find the approximate speed R of a car that leaves a skid mark of length L in feet. So what they're saying is they use this formula here where R stands for the speed of the car and L will stand for the length of the skid mark. They can use that to determine how long a skid mark would be, or more importantly, the other way, they could determine how fast a car was going. Have you ever seen, like, you know, these police come out and they have a group of police that are able to reconstruct a car accident? You know, if there's a bad car accident, they can go back and reconstruct it and figure out how fast the car coming this way was, how fast the car, and how you wonder how they do it. And one of the ways they do that is by looking at the skid marks. They study the skid marks and they can determine, all right, they started braking at this point, you know, how fast were they going when they were braking? And this formula is an example of what they do. And you can see it says for good weather conditions. So they might even have more complicated formulas that might take into account, you know, if the roads are wet and things like that. So how long would the skid mark be when a car's speed is 85 miles an hour? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 85 and we're going to plug it into this formula, and that'll tell us the skid mark's length. So if I'm going to take the 85, so my formula is R equals 2 square root 5L. In place of the R, I'm going to put 85. I know the car is going 85 miles an hour. So then I'm just going to solve this equation for L. So first thing I'm going to do is divide by 2. I do that, I get 42.5. 42.5 equals the square root of 5L. We just learned how to solve equations that have square root functions. To get rid of that square root, we're going to square both sides. So 42.5 squared equals the square root of 5L squared. So that's going to, 5L is going to equal, I need a calculator here, 42.5 squared is 1806.25. I'm not going to round yet. I mean, typically we're going to round to nearest tenth. We do problems like these, but I'm going to wait to round until the end. So then to solve this, I'm just dividing by 5. So I'm going to divide that by 5. I get 361.25, so I'll round that up to 361.3. So L equals 361.3. So the question was, how long is a skid mark? It's going to be 361.3 feet. All right, so that is just terrible. Feet. That doesn't look that much better. Whatever. You know what it says. It says 361.3 feet. So that's an example of taking a square root function, using it in a word problem to be able to come up with an answer of some sort. All right, so there's your examples. You're going to have some practice problems to do those along with an answer key. So please check those over and do those. Thank you.